Epic Gaming Night is sponsored by Tasty Minstrel Games. Make sure to check out the Tasty Minstrel podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. This podcast is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Thanks for your support. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me as always is Matt.
Hello.
And Rob.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Matt, we've missed you.
Yeah, man.
So
I think I'm still alive. I'm not sure yet.
Hey,
Have you been sick?
You were here for our D&D episode, but you were having computer issues, and then I know Emerson missed you last week, so
Yeah, man.
and the crowds have been like, "Where's the beard at? We gotta have the beard. We gotta have Matt."
You did say that, actually.
I literally last week I went to work on Sunday, so that was what started my week. So I was just like, it's Wednesday, okay. So I went to dinner. Then you're like, podcast, and I was like, oh shit, I'm in Winston.
You were gonna do the downtown Disney phone call. You just sounded like a robot.
That, man. Not everybody has got that going on. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't think I have that sort of charisma to just be able to pull that off.
You're like, guys, I'm eating dinner right now. These breadsticks are great. What else do you guys want to know about the dinner palette that we got going on right now?
You guys are just talking about something. I'm like, what? What was
What's going on? Nice. Well, we got a show lined up for us today. We're going to be talking about casual games and chilling out, seeing that it's all nice and raining and gloomy here in North Carolina currently. But yeah, there's some awesome news that we want to get into as well. And talk about what we've been playing, if anything. But one of the big things that me and Rob kind of wanted to talk about last week, but we didn't get to it, is the Batman Kickstarter that just went up last week on Kickstarter. And it was pretty ridiculous to start off. It's already up to a lot of money, $2 million, like $2.5 million. Yeah, so it's huge. And the Batman Kickstarter is made by the same people who did the Conan board game, and it's basically sort of like the same system. So it's like a one versus many system is the normal gameplay, and one team is the good guys who are playing each individual character, and then one team is the bad guys who have like this river mechanic of like being able to activate different units based off like this whole crystal point system, and then all of the characters have like a crystal point system where they're spending crystals to take extra actions and things like that. Conan came out 2 years ago, I think, and it was actually in my top 10 games of the year when it came out in 2016. I really enjoyed it, but the crazy thing is I don't really care about the Conan theme all that much. I don't really do a whole lot about it, and there were some things about the Conan theme that were like a little off-putting to me as well, but I still really enjoyed the system. So the whole Batman Kickstarter thing looks really cool because, I mean, it's Batman.
well, it's definitely an IP you can get behind.
Yeah. And it uses that same Conan system, so definitely really cool.
Yeah.
What do you think of this one, Rob?
Matt, do you have any thoughts? Because I may be a minute.
I have lots of thoughts. Now, to be fair,
Dat money, though.
Hector showed this to me, and I went, ooh. To me, it is very disconcerting because now this is not looking at any of the gameplay or remarking on any of that. The minis look great, gameplay.
You're talking about the Kickstarter exclusivity of the game?
No, it's more the fact that the game is so expensive just to get the base.
Yeah.
And then additional minis cost more money, but then they already have 3 expansions planned that you can prepay for now, basically. And the expansions are basically whole game costs.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty expensive. It is definitely super expensive game.
Like, I just look at that, and to me, it's like one of those things where it's like, hey, man, you can pre-order Call of Duty, but you can pre-order Call of Duty Deluxe version and get all the DLC later when we get finished making it. You know, or you have a game that has, like, day one DLC, so it's just like, well, we got this expansion you can get right now. Why not just put that in the game? Like, how much more would it be to put it in the game?
Well, I guess part of that is...
$5, $10? You know?
I guess part of that is that the base game itself has so much stuff and it's already so expensive that all that extra stuff and add-ons, if they tried to add that stuff in, you would just not be able to get the game. Honestly, I wish the base game was smaller.
Why are they making games so freaking expensive?
I don't know, man.
They've watched Cool Mini or Not go, hey, man, this game's $60. Hey, man, this game's $80. Hey, man, this game's $100. To where you have Green Horde that starts off at $120, and you're like, here we are.
And I mean, I think there's probably a lot of value in that box, but they definitely aren't cutting corners to make
a lot of
it.
Inflation in that box as well.
You're right. I mean, I'm sure the IP is expensive for them, but then they like have nice fancy plastic trays for all the things and stuff like that, and like have everything super pimped out. So I mean, it's a thing where it's like you can get a lot of games for the price of that game.
Well, the crazy thing is you can't though.
Not
it's
anymore.
Not even just Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah.
Just like games in general, prices are going up now. Granted, they're also using more plastic and stuff than they have in the past. Right. But like when Blood Rage, I think when Blood Rage first came out, the Kickstarter for Blood Rage was under $100.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous, and I think I got Blood Rage and everything for maybe $100, and that was doing. I'll tell you real quick. Guess how much I got Blood Rage for? $75.
And that's with everything?
Everything.
That's crazy. Man, yeah. I mean, and we actually had a podcast where we talked about like
and
how these games keep getting more and more expensive.
Tell you this. My next Cool Mini or Not was $150, so double that. And then my next one was $336.
Yeah, I could never spend that much on a board game in one shot. Like that's insane.
$200. Well, I've spent more than that on the game, but we're not going to. That was not a Cool Mini or Not game. Don't worry about that. I mean, you guys know already. I spent a lot of money on. On freaking Joan of Arc.
I think
it'll be worth it when it gets there.
I think the game
will be, because I've got like 1,000 miniatures coming.
I think a lot of these really expensive games have a lot of stuff in there, and they have tons of miniatures, but it's just like, how much are you going to pay for these certain games, you know? It's pretty crazy.
Well, here's the thing I was thinking about. I almost have like pre-buyer's remorse. And like, I think what's doing it to me is Cry Havoc. I really wanted to play Cry Havoc. I really want to play Cry Havoc. Owned it for almost 2 years now. I've not gotten it to the table. I don't know if I necessarily want to go in $150 for a game I'll play once.
Yeah.
Or a game I'll play once or twice. Because like it's fun and everything. The IP looks cool. But again, I also try to play. If I'm not playing with you guys, I try to play a lot with people that have not played board games before. Like I'm trying to like evangelize the podcast and stuff like that. And so I can't bring out a game like Batman to those people because that's not a starter game.
I don't know. I feel like you might be able to pull that off a lot better than other stuff.
The one versus many. If I'm the one, I'm probably going to win.
It depends on how casual you go with it.
Yeah, but I'm just a jerk. And so I don't know. It's just I don't know if I'm going to back it. Here's the other reason why I don't know if I'm going to back it. And I'll find out more next week. But I'm more interested personally in the Harry Potter IP than I am the
Batman.
Than Batman. Oh man. Well, see, the thing that has me worried about Harry Potter, to be completely honest, is Harry Potter is going to be expensive, especially if it's going to be a miniatures game.
Yeah.
Harry Potter is going to be expensive. And then we have this other Kickstarter that we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes. But I don't know. I'm with Matt. I think it's a decent game though, but for a lot of money. And as I
Yeah.
have other life responsibilities start to take over, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it.
I think it's solid. If I had the money, like, I'd be all in on it, because I was actually trying to sell games to be like, let me back this Batman Kickstarter, because I really like the way that the game plays, but like you said, like, it is a lot of money to throw down on a game. I would never go all in. I don't know that I'll ever go
How
all
often,
in.
though,
On
do you
these.
think you're going to play that game?
The thing is, like, I feel like it's a game that I could actually play with my kids and stuff when they get a little bit older. So I feel like it'd be pretty cool and stuff like that. And there's a lot of miniatures, but it just
but what
depends
do
on
you
how
mean?
much of stuff is going on, in how much is going to get into the Kickstarter before it ends. So I guess we'll see.
Oh, and that's another thing that I'm waiting to watch
Yeah.
as well, to see how much. Because I will say this, with everything that they've unlocked with the Kickstarter,
You're getting a lot of miniatures.
you almost have more miniatures unlocked so far than you have that comes in the base box.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it's worth it. Now, I will say this: my tone has changed from going all in because of this next game that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But man, I just
Too many good games on Kickstarter, or too many big, expensive games on Kickstarter
both.
that you have to wait a really long time before you can play. So it's just kind of like, should I do it? But
I mean, it's fun and it's annoying, because like it's fun because like every month for me this year, just about every month except for maybe a couple, is going to be like Christmas. I'm really excited for March, even though a lot of the games that are supposed to come in March will be delayed. March and April, I've got some games coming that I'm really excited for. Like, but that is also annoying to drop $100+ now to
And
then wait
year.
a year.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing I've always had with Kickstarter. It's just kind of like, but there's a bunch of good games I don't have right now that are out right now. Like, it always makes that tough decision. But what do you
Well,
guys?
and also, why haven't we played Dead of Winter?
Yeah.
Like,
Because nobody wants to
there
come
are
over and play
still
games.
a lot of fantastic games.
I mean, nobody wants to come over and play games. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, my thing is work. Like, I just got done working on a project. I have been today. Started working around 8:30. Just got done around 9 o'clock. Already a 12-hour day. I literally ate lunch. I counted myself because I watched the YouTube video while I ate lunch in 4 minutes and 47 seconds.
It's about to be
Awesome.
even more of a busy time of year for you too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
'cause
And
you're
so
going
it's
into that
just one of those
spring
things
season.
where I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because I'm also tired, and so I'm not trying to be so cranky or whatnot. But it's just, am I really? Am I going to play it enough to justify the price? Am I going to play it enough to justify to be getting yelled at,
Yeah.
right? From my wife. Oh, you spent another $100+ on a game.
I do want to have a topic one week about, like, when do you feel like your collection is like, this is good, you know? At a certain point, it's like, these games are good. I should play these games, you know? It's like, do I need to continue with adding more games? I really want to play these games that I got because they're so good.
Well, it's
I think
both
I'm
though.
at that point.
Yeah.
I think that's both. I think that's. I mean, there's nothing problem with being excited for new.
Uh-huh.
There is absolutely nothing wrong, but I think the problem with a lot of board gamers, and myself included, is we also become so excited about being collectors rather than hobbyists. Like, we get really excited about the new shiny toy, but there's always a new shiny toy, right?
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with wanting and liking the new shiny toy, especially if you're in a position in life where you can afford to make that decision. But at the same time, there are so many gems that aren't even hidden. They're just a little older. Like freaking Werewolf, or Dead of Winter, or Shadows over Camelot, or The Resistance.
Yeah.
Or some of like
the
these
thing about
older games
board
that we
games
don't
is
talk
like
about anymore.
the good games don't stop being good just because they're old. They continue to still be good, and you can still go back to them. Like, some of those evergreen games are sitting on my shelf, and I'm like, man, those games are still really good, and I would still play them all day long. So it's just kind of interesting. And I'd still recommend other people get those games, you know? You don't always have to get the newest game.
In
So,
fact, get it now. because you can get it cheaper now.
Oh yeah.
Unless it's just like completely out of print or whatnot.
What do you guys think about the fact that Batman is going to be completely 100% exclusive to Kickstarter? So it's like, if you don't get it now, you better just forget Batman exists.
So the base game is $140,
Uh-huh.
and if you wanted all of the expansions they're offering, that's an additional $180. So you're sitting at $320,
Yes.
not including shipping for
everything. Yeah, well, yeah, not including shipping. So let's just
And-
say 340, 345.
Yeah, and that's if you don't back it now, you're never going to get it, quote unquote. But I feel like they'll come out with another run. At some
Just like they do with Gloomhaven and things like that.
Yeah. But like I don't know. I feel like that's my issue with Kickstarter is because it's like you have a bunch of games that are on Kickstarter at the same time because these companies aren't necessarily coordinating their launches going, "Oh, I think that's going to be a big launch, so maybe let me try to back it up here a little bit." So you have several big games that come out at the same time and you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, I got paid $400 in this paycheck or whatever, and
You have to
I
choose.
yeah, and you're like, I mean, I've got some savings that I could bank on, so if I want to get one of these big games, now I'm literally stuck getting one of them.
Yep. Especially if they're
And
both
there's
exclusive.
no
Then it's just kind of like,
Yeah, and if they're both exclusive, like I would just, I think I'm to the point now where if something's like, hey, this is Kickstarter exclusive, I'm just gonna go, okay, cool, I'm not gonna buy it because,
yeah.
it's
Another
not.
thing is like the value on these games, like after they come out, a lot of times with these Kickstarter exclusive games, if you don't like the game or want to get rid of the game like
Your
afterwards,
SOL.
well, no, I mean if you want to get rid of the game, you can sell it off. You don't think you can sell it off for the value that you just paid for it?
It depends
Well,
on
it
what
depends
the game is. 'Cause
well,
if the
it
game
also
is
depends
terrible,
on when you sell it.
Uh-huh.
Because there are a lot of people that buy the Kickstarter games because they want the exclusivity. And so they buy it as an investment to sell it for more.
Uh-huh.
And so like a game like this, especially because it's a Kickstarter exclusive, I can imagine a lot of people buying it just to then turn around and sell it. Because they were able to make that commitment when it came in.
Yeah.
And what if it's like a last Friday type of a deal? Where
Yeah, but the
hype,
good thing
hype,
about
hype,
Batman is I already know how the game plays. So
okay, well, the thing about Conan is it sucks when you're not Conan. So is that going to be the same thing when you're Batman?
I don't think. I mean, I think you could probably still sell Conan stuff for pretty good, but I mean, I think it should be more solid. I'm hoping that. I mean, they've said they've listened to the community on that sort of stuff too. So we'll see.
Now, I will say for me, the Kickstarter exclusivity doesn't bother me so much. I get it from a sales point of view. I get why they're trying to do it.
Oh yeah, they have like good descriptions on like, hey, the game
Mm-hmm.
costs so much to make that we can't really sell it through a store and things like that, just because we wouldn't make any profit or any margin on it. And that's the same thing with like Gloomhaven and things like that. It's kind of interesting to see the market start having more things like that, where it's like, we might have another Kickstarter eventually, but we're not announcing that, so you better jump on now. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's all just trying to get hype.
Yeah.
If you're a salesman, you have to sell the sizzle. And the sizzle in this is, it's exclusive. We don't know if it'll ever come back. Buy now, even though they've already got it planned for it to come back out in the fall because they're going to, blah, blah, blah. I mean, look at the sales. In less than 24 hours, over $2 million.
Yeah.
And less than and now it's kind of stalled. Now, it hasn't stalled per se, but you go $2 million in a day, and over a week later, it's not even gone $500,000 since then.
Yeah.
So that tells me a couple things. That tells me, one, everybody who was going to get it automatically backed it on day one. They didn't worry about it. And then the rest of the week, it just kind of looked like, I don't know, that everybody just is kind of waiting to the end. Everyone's waiting to see how much comes with it for free, or not for free because it's not free, but how many stretch goals are unlocked.
To see how much
if
value they're
feel
going
or
to
not.
get, if they're going to up the
Yeah.
value.
But I don't know. The exclusive stuff, being a salesman, I get it. It's a smart tactic. It's not. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't become non-exclusive. Like Raxon was supposed to be exclusive only, and then now it's in stores and sales. If they can make a lot of money putting it in retail, there's a good chance it could. We don't know. I don't know, man.
That price point for the base game, man, it was hard for me to back Rising Sun. Like, I had to do it because like how good it was, and I don't regret it at all. Like, I really like that game.
So
it was so much value in the box, but like,
smells so bad.
Just dropping $100 is just like holy smokes. But then you're adding like another 50% almost of that, another 40% to that. It's like so much money.
Well, and see, here's my not issue. I know Cool Mini or Not is going to put out a good game. I have not played a Cool Mini or Not game that I have not liked. Now, I don't count Massive Darkness because we only played 10 minutes of a demo that wasn't even part of the demo session.
Yeah.
But there has not been a Cool Mini or Not game that I have not liked. And I will say Cool Mini or Not, they have so much planned in their Kickstarters where I feel like I am getting a good deal. Now, one of the issues I don't like with Cool Mini or Not on their Kickstarters is their price points in between stretch goals. Like, they do $40 and $1,000 in between on their stretch goals. Like, it's big points. But I already know I like the company. I already know I'm going to like the game for the most part because I've enjoyed everything else that I've played for Cool Mini or Not. So when I see a company like this, who everyone's going off of Conan, yes, we hope that they fixed it. I thought Conan was cool, but there were a couple of things about Conan I didn't like so much. And so it's another thing that makes it a little bit more hesitant for me. Is I guess they don't have the tenure, the proof is not so much in the pudding, at least for my perspective, or my own personal wants and desires.
I think people that get the game will like it, but it's just getting that.
Well, of course they're going to like it. People still love Conan.
Yeah.
Conan's not a bad game, but I don't think it's as great as everybody says it is.
Cool. Well, that's Batman. The next game.
This is where I'm about to eat my words.
This is where this is the main reason why Rob's not all in on Batman anymore. Is Zombicide Invader. It looks like they're taking Zombicide into space with basically
it literally
space
looks like
Marines.
Zombicide Warhammer 40K.
Yep. Like, literally, that's just what it is. They don't really have a whole lot of information on this yet, but I guess it's going to be launched on April 10th. And it'll be Zombicide. It'll be Zombicide mechanics. Rob loves Zombicide. Zombicide's okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Zombicide is not okay. Zombicide.
No, it's not. You're right.
Great.
I agree completely, Rob. It's not okay. It's fine. No, it's hack and slash, button smash.
It's great. It is such a fun game to me. I absolutely love it. And the one time I ever played with you, we just went too crazy and too heavy and too all in. I think it's one of my favorite IPs. It's one of my favorite games out there of all time. It's easily in my top 10 every time.
Cool. But yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it more when there's more information and they show some stuff. I do find it interesting that, like, it straight up looks like Space Marines. It's kind of funny because I saw some comments that are like, man, this looks awesome. I hope Games Workshop doesn't get mad or do anything, but I don't know how they could. Like it's not called Warhammer or anything like that. And I mean, it doesn't look exactly like Space Marines. It's just people in power armor. How can you get mad?
That's what I love about Cool Mini or Not. They will do everything they can to skirt around the issue.
Oh yeah,
like
they've
got Wolverine, and instead of calling him Logan, it's like Leah or Luke or something. But it's Logan from Wolverine because he's even got the claws.
But it's a dwarf instead of a regular Wolverine. It's like a dwarf Wolverine, so it's kind of makes it a little bit different.
Don't care. Like, sure, it's not Space Marines. It's just army people in space. It's the exact same thing. Come on, it looks like 40K. Zombicide for me is become one of those IPs. It's almost taking over my Risk
obsession
where, like, the completionist in me, just because Zombicide, back when I was in Arkansas and playing with my friends, Zombicide wasn't one of the games that got us into the hobby, but when we started playing Zombicide, We had so much fun with it, and it was one of the first games that we played that was entirely co-op, where we were all on the same team, and that's so much fun. When you can just button smash and hack and slash, and it's not all of that, but it is at the same time, because you do have objectives, but it's basically blow up everything until you get to the objectives. I don't know. I love it. I love it. I love all the minis. That's a game where it's like a Blood Rage to me, where I get so much. I definitely feel it's worth like all the plastic.
Yeah.
Because so much comes in those boxes, and there's a ton of stuff that comes in those boxes. So, yeah. Once you text me that picture of Zombicide Invaders, I was like, bye, Batman. I mean, literally within like 10 seconds, that was one of my first thoughts is, bye, Batman. Well, the main, really though, Batman, the really thing that's really hurting me is Harry Potter. Because like, I want to go in for Harry Potter. I'm nervous to see how much.
I wonder how that game is gonna be, because I don't know that much about like not night models and stuff like that, or night miniatures or whatever.
You don't even know about Harry Potter. I don't feel like you're qualified to answer. Harry Potter is amazing.
No, I'm talking about the gameplay.
It doesn't matter. It's freaking Harry Potter. I think it's gonna be great. Even if I have to make up my own rules, I'll run around saying Nucleus Amoso, just like blowing up stuff, making up my own spells.
Are you into Harry Potter, Matt?
I mean, I read all the books, and it does hold a sort of fond place in my heart, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm like a lot of the people who are online who are just like, oh my god, I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm like, okay.
Oh, no, see, I'm not that.
Make it stop. Hey, what house are you guys? Or what faction are you guys?
It's like, I at one point while reading, definitely thought like, oh, where would I be? And that was a fun
and you can't help but have that thought while you're reading it.
Right. But this is way after the books come out, and they're like, we went on this website, the officially licensed Harry Potter website, and we took a quiz, and now I'm in this house. So when I go to this place, I can get this stuff. And I'm like, all right, they did it. They have sold everything. They have theme park, like they've done it. GG, they got it. They made books that made tons of money, and then they're turning that into movies that made tons of money, and they're turning it into theme parks that's going to make tons of money. Like, it's just 10 out of 10. That is how you make something and then get rich enough to never have to do anything ever again.
Oh my gosh, she's so rich. Bro,
it's insane.
It is literally insane. She's doing so well. And you know what? Good for her, because I don't know if you know her story or anything like that, but she was like at the end of her rope, like not even living paycheck to paycheck, so poor, like at the point of she was just ready to give up. And she came back in, and she submitted this book idea about a boy wizard, and then it took off. But I mean, if you ever get a chance to like listen to her story of like where she was pre Harry Potter, it's like one of those things where it's like, man, like whether you like it or not, it really is one of those great rags to riches stories, because she persevered, she kept going. Not that makes me want to buy this stuff anymore, but it does, as a creator, give me hope, and it gives me
that when you're at the very end of your rope and you don't have any money, then you'll publish your book.
Well, no, it's not that. It gives me hope to not give up, right? Because like some things are worth fighting for, and she really believed in her dream of writing, and she really wanted to do what she wanted to do. And some things are worth fighting for. I think, there's a whole 80-20 rule, and she's definitely not an 80. She's a 20. And I have mad respect for her for stuff like that. And I just so happen to like all that, because the freaking wizarding world is pure fantasy.
Yeah.
You can have anything you want in there. You can have absolutely anything you want. Anything. Like, how awesome is that? Like, that's amazing. And so we'll see. The only problem is, though, like miniature games on Kickstarter have been expensive for not a lot. I mean, that's the thing. That's one of the things that scared me about some of these other mini games that we talked about. It's like you're going to throw down some money to not necessarily get a lot.
Yeah.
And so I want to see what they're going to.
You can still have just as much fun with the game that's not that hardcore.
Yeah. You can go buy Dead of Winter right now and play it for the next several years.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could play Dead of Winter, The Long Night, and Warring Colonies, all for way cheaper than Batman.
You can get all of that for like under $80.
Yeah,
or under 100, definitely.
Yeah, you could probably get it for under the base game.
You find the right deals at the right times.
Yeah, man. Speaking of which, Cool Mini or Not, or not Cool Mini or Not, but Cool Stuff is having a large sale right now.
Oh, yeah. Funnigan Games, which was a game store, they went out of business, and I guess they had like most of their games that were on their website for like 40 to 50% off, like everything. And you couldn't even get on the website. There were so many people trying to buy all the stuff. Like literally their servers were crashing. It was like, holy crap. So it was pretty intense.
Quit. We can't afford to turn the servers back on.
I got off work and
Which
I'm like,
this?
let me go look. It was fun again. Like I went in to go look and like almost everything was sold out at that point. But
they're the ones that were going out of business.
Yeah. So
I heard about that, and I saw somebody posted on like one of the social media forums, and I was like, I'm not even gonna try because it's probably crashed right now.
I looked at some stuff and I'm like, oh, let me look at this game. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Let me go look at this game. Oh, that's kind of interesting. And I would go back and check and it would be gone. And I'm like, okay, well, never mind. I was thinking about trying to get, what is it? The guide to what's that D&D book? The Zandabar's Guide to Everything or whatever. They had that on there. I was like, I should get this. It was like $15 shipping no matter what you got. So you need to buy a pile of stuff. So that's kind of weird. So I was like, no, I don't have enough things that I would get to make it justify buying this, but I would like to have this book. But well. Cool. Well, I guess we can get into what we've been playing.
Play D&D. How about that?
Just play more D&D?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm ready for, like, I'm so pissed that we're only doing it once a month. Like, that breaks my heart, man. Like, I do want to apologize to Matt and to Crystal. The more and more I listen to our podcast, I'm like, I think I was annoying, but I was excited.
I think it was fun. I think you played your character a specific way, and I think it made it entertaining. So, I mean, you know. Matt and Crystal were being the ones that were, like, logical and trying to figure the stuff out. You got to have the guys in there to make it fun, you know.
Yeah.
Adam's like, and I just attack it. And I was just like, yes.
I'm going to be more like that, I think, in the future. I'm not going to try to reason this. If anything, I can't talk like that for long. So.
Oh, yeah. We can change your character up however you need to.
You definitely started with a really deep voice, and you ended up you ended up as like Fat Albert.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no,
going to be like a Eastern European, Russian style accent or whatever, but I'm not. I can't do that. My throat that night and in the morning.
I'm pretty sure in the audio, as soon as you did that voice, I'm like, Rob, are you going to do that the whole time? Because I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're going to be hurting.
Oh, man. I thought I gave myself strep throat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you'll mess up your throat. I mean, you could lose your voice if you do something like that for too long.
It was a blast. It was a blast. I'm ready to play some more. In fact, I'm talking to Adam right now in chat. We're gonna start our own. We're gonna start a Kids on Bikes RPG where we can do it more often. I need to play.
That's the crazy thing about role playing games is like there's all these miniature game Kickstarters that have 1 million miniatures that are super expensive, but literally all you need is like the base book of a D&D thing, which you could probably get for free if you really wanted to, and you can play a role playing game forever. Like never stop. You never run out of content.
That we're doing it too, like doing it over Skype or whatnot. Like we can play with whoever as well. Yeah, and I love that.
You never run out of content, and that's another cool thing about 5th edition as opposed to like 4th, because I played 4th for so long, and 4th is like a board game / miniatures tactical game when you get into combat, which is cool and fun, but you can't do that over Skype very well or very easily. I mean, there's plenty of programs that you can use to move stuff around, but it's just like it's so much nicer when you just get to do the whole make it up in theater of the mind and try to figure out what's going on. And sometimes I feel like that can be a little bit more evocative in the things that you like. You get to like see it in your head as opposed to like seeing it on the board, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
I also love that the nicest person in our group is the devil herself.
A tiefling
so
is not
sweet,
a devil.
like,
Oh my goodness.
apologizing to like old ladies that I'm dropping as I'm walking and stuff like that. All this kind of stuff. And she's just like, so sorry, here's the money. Sorry for my friend. And she's literally a demon.
They just make deals with the demons, so they have an infernal pact. They're not a demon. So I played a lot of games with other people that played tieflings. Tieflings can be pretty hardcore. Anyway, D&D is awesome. Have you guys played any other games or?
Did you guys get together on Friday and play? Weren't you guys going to play something?
No. Matt went and looked at Rivers.
Yeah. Ortiz, that was the thing I was forgetting about. Was Ryan was like, "Hey man, you want to go hiking?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Hey, are we still going hiking?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." So we go up to Asheville, and I don't know if you guys were aware as just how windy it was this weekend.
Oh, bro. Very aware.
It was really windy.
It was awful.
3/4
Y'all get
of
blown
my
off
real
the side
estate
of a
signs
mountain?
all got blown away this weekend.
We were just up in the mountains. It was like a solid 20 miles an hour always. You'd see some like 60 miles an hour gusts, and I was just like, are we gonna try and go hiking? Like, for real? I don't know. And we ended up not going, but we just rolled around Asheville, ate a lot of food, drank some drink. But I guess at one point, it's probably been a month now, we played Pandemic Legacy Season 2 again. And we actually won a game. I know.
What month are y'all on now?
It has been so long, I've forgotten.
March.
I want to say June or July.
Cool. So you're like halfway
And
through
you
the
just
board.
now won your first game, and you're already.
No,
in
they
June
won a
or
bunch of
July.
the first ones, right?
So the thing was, we won the first two or
Okay.
three, and then we lost 5 or 6 in a row.
Got it. Is it like the first one where you only play 1 month twice, regardless win or
Yeah.
lose?
Yeah. And it was just like, oh boy, this is getting bad. But we got to the point where I feel like we have stuff to help stuff, and there are certain cities, because the way they say to play, they're like, hey man, sometimes you can't save everybody, and it's like, okay. And I think it finally hit home that it's like maybe these places we just don't worry about anymore. But we just got to a point where we unlocked a whole bunch of stuff, and that was literally our stopping point. So it's just like, okay, things are about to get really crazy. But it was a lot of fun. It was really good. There's I feel like there's a lot more table talk and just general discussion in this one as opposed to season 1, because season 1, yeah, I mean, just Pandemic in general has that like thing where it's like 1 or 2 people are like, okay, well, let's hang on, I think you should do this, and it's like, okay. And season 2 still has a bit of that, but I feel like everybody else was contributing like a decent amount, a lot, and there was a lot more sort of discussion in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you like it that it's more discussion and stuff like that?
Yes. Absolutely. I feel like I like season 2 better than season 1 entirely because of it feels so very different, and I feel like the story to me is a bit more impactful so far.
Nice.
And it's mostly, I think it mostly has to do with the map. So I could probably give you a base overview of the plot to what I know right now. I'm not going to, but I think I could, and it's, it's not like, it's not winning any awards for writing, but I feel like the way it ties into what's going on in the world and how the map changes and like all these different things that are going on in the game, it really makes for sort of a compelling narrative experience.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Do you have to have played season 1 to play that?
No.
Play 2?
Because honestly, season 1, like win or lose season 1, you go into season 2 and it's like, yep, there's this one plague. It's the mega plague. It's killed everything, and it's 70 years after when the other one left off. So like if you won and you cured things and you're like, hey, yeah, pandemic legacy. This one's just like, yeah, sort of.
But
it's like I don't know if you've ever played like XCOM or XCOM 2, like the newer ones, but it's like basically XCOM is pretty hard, and then XCOM 2 is like, oh yeah, so if you actually beat the first one, that's not how the second one starts, because we just assume a lot of people died, like a bunch. So every time you messed up, that's just where we decided to say the canon was. You failed. Now we can start here. And it's like, oh, cool. So,
nice.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, I got a chance to play Stuffed Fables with my kids. So that was pretty awesome. We've talked about the mechanics of Stuffed Fables a lot. You're drawing dice from a bag to take different actions. You're working as a team, and you're playing on this cool little storybook. We've talked about it a ton. I talked about it after Gen Con, and then Rob talked about it playing it with his kids. Stuffed Fables is pretty cool. I like the mechanics, and it's very interesting. My kids enjoyed it. My daughter might be still a little bit too young, but she was coming back to take her turns when it was actually her turn, but then she'd run off from the table to go do other things when it wasn't her turn. But my son was super engaged. He liked it a whole lot. He thought that the game was awesome. He did think that the game was super creepy because he's not into baby dolls, and like the first encounter is like these crab baby doll head things, and he's just like, ah. So he's like, I really like the game, but it's really super spooky, or it's really super creepy. I'm like, oh, but you play Mansions of Madness. He's like, I think it's creepier than Mansions of Madness. And I'm like, no way. But yeah, so my son likes it a whole lot, but it's creepier than Mansions of Madness.
That's
I can get that though. I mean, it's more real to him, right? So
yeah.
I think he probably makes some sort of disconnection where he's like, that's an alien. That just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But he's like, that baby doll's real.
But yeah, it's kind of funny because like it's this weird baby doll crab looking thing. Basically, sort of, it really reminds you a lot of the thing from Toy Story, and he loves Toy Story. But like that scene, he would like run out of the room at that sort of thing. So it was just kind of funny. So I had the game set up, and like we're doing it, and I'm telling them, hey, if we draw a certain number of black dice out of the bag, then the monsters activate. So I'm like, okay, it's your turn, and he's drawing the dice out of the bag like one by one, and he draws the black dice, and this is the very first time that the monsters ever activate in the entire game, and it's those creepy crab things. He drew the last black dice to make the monsters activate, and he like ran out of the room screaming. Because he's like, no! I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, we killed like one of them already. There's only 2 left. It's not that big of a deal. He's like, no! They're gonna come for us! So it's very realistic. And Jerry Hawthorne made my son run out of the room screaming. Thanks for that, Jerry. But yeah, he came back.
At the same time, my daughter did not run out of the room screaming, and
y'all just wrecked him.
I feel like you should make a video review of the game, Roy, and that's basically all you say, and then try to see if you can convince Plaidhead to like put that somewhere like on a web page or something. Just to do like, it's very realistic.
It's super realistic and terrifying.
Yeah. Well, it is like Toy Story. Our toys are real. They do come to life when we're not looking at them and stuff like that. So I get it. It is realistic in that aspect.
I think it's kind of funny because it's all like, and then you get sucked under the bed by this dark energy. It's like, dude, what the? So it's pretty fun. But this is the copy that we're going to be giving away for our patrons for our game of the quarter. So Matt, it would be awesome if we could get you to play it. And so that way we could talk a little bit about playing it without kids. That would be kind of cool. If you're interested.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to play more of it through with my kids, at least finish the first story. That'd be really cool. How far have you gotten in it, Rob?
We're almost done with the first story. We're past the train, if you've gotten to the train.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's I think that's the same place we are, because we played like 3 pages or 4 pages. We played like 4 pages. So, but it's really cool.
How long is the first story?
I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to see. But I know we're not at the end of it, so there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely seems super interesting. One thing that I didn't know at first is like there's a couple characters that you're not supposed to play with at the beginning. So I did
the
this
lion and the piggy.
I did this silly thing of being like, "Hey kids, these are all the characters. Which ones do you want to play with?" And of course, they picked the two that you're not supposed to start with. And just like my son decided to go with someone else, but my daughter still wanted to play her character. I'm like, Plathead doesn't tell me what to do. You can play that character if you want to.
They do tell you what to do, though. They put it in the rules.
Okay, they tell me what to do, but I don't listen, is what I'm trying to say. If my daughter wants to play the pig at the beginning, we can meet her character later, too. That's fine.
Oink, oink, baby. She plays the pig.
Exactly. She wants to play the pink character because she picks her characters based off color. I don't know.
And they're all gray, so...
I mean, the picture on the card's pink, but that's fine.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
You got me there.
Cool.
Bro, is that a grilled cheese sandwich you're eating?
No, it's a calzone.
Even better.
Oh, that's still good.
But yeah. So yeah, Stuffed Fables. I mean, I really like the system on Stuffed Fables, and I'm really excited to see what more stuff that book can do because that thing is like huge.
It is very thick.
Like we've played games on 3 pages, and it took us like a couple hours to play through it, and the book is like gigantic, and it's branching is another thing that's really cool. Like you beat a scenario one way, it'll say, "Hey, go to this page." You beat a scenario a different way, it'll say, "Go to that page." So it can be completely different depending on what happens in your game, which I think is also really interesting.
The
too.
choices you make during this scenario.
Yeah.
Like the whole train thing. If you're able to do this, do this. If you weren't able to do this, go do this.
Yep. And it can change up the story that you have with your stuffies as you're running around. So it's definitely pretty cool. I think it'd be interesting. Maybe we play and like do a different story or something like that, like one of the not starting ones. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
But yeah, awesome. Speaking of that, next week I want to do a patron hangout. So if there's any patrons listening, if you guys want to get on the podcast, we stream at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. It would be awesome. You guys can join in, ask us questions. We'll ask you questions. We'll hang out, and then we'll choose one of our patrons to give away the copy of Stuffed Fables, and it'll be super awesome. After we do our review of it, that is. So. Super stoked, and thanks everybody who helped pick out that game. So yeah,
absolutely.
So Rob, did you get a chance to play anything else?
Yeah, I got to play. I went to a couple parties this weekend, and so we played Strike, which is always a favorite, and we play Telestrations, which is still best when you play with people that can't draw.
2 games that fit our topic really well tonight.
And then we also played Wits and Wagers Vegas Edition, which is always a crowd favorite. Mm-hmm. And a quick funny story about Wits and Wagers Vegas Edition, which we've gone over all the mechanics of these games in the past. I think out of all 3 of those, Wits and Wagers Vegas is probably my favorite for a crowd because it's not threatening. You just write down a number. So we're playing Wits and Wagers Vegas, and the kids, I was at my sister's house, and so all the kids are in the other room, and they had a neighbor over, and so her and her husband were playing. So there's 6 of us. There were 6 of us playing. I got up to go check on the kids because like my daughter started crying or something, and they cheated. They looked at the card. They looked at the answer on the card. Right, and here's the fun part about it, and this is a shout out to my sister and my wife and everybody else that played. Even after looking at the card, they got the answer wrong. So when you play Wits and Wagers, especially the Party Edition, it gives you the answer to the far left on the back of the card, but in the middle of the card, it gives you like a reason why type of a thing, right? Like one of the questions was, how long is the Statue of Liberty's right arm? And the right arm is like 42 feet long, but if you read the middle part, it says the waist from the toes to the hip is 36 feet long, type of a thing. And that wasn't the question, but they all wrote down 36. And I came back and I was like, man, you guys all, wow, everyone just must be really feeling it. Everybody wrote down 36. And I wrote down like 40. Like I don't think it's that. I think it's actually a little bit longer. Granted, that wasn't the exact question. The question was actually a little bit bigger, but that's one of the questions I remember. And so I flipped it over and I read the answer, and the answer was 42, right? And they're all like, "What? Alexis?" And I'm like, "What happened?" And they were like, "We cheated real quick. As soon as you left the room, she took the card and started whispering, 'God, so here's the thing. It's 36 inches or 36 blah, blah, blah.'" And it was just so hilarious. I'm like, "All right, so you guys didn't see in bold where like the answers are?" And they're like, "No, because Alexis wasn't reading it, properly or out loud." They were all nervous because, I was coming back and stuff
That's
like that.
awesome.
And so I just, like, we're all playing, and one of the guys, he wrote down like 2 feet because he couldn't hear what my sister was whispering at all. But like 4 of the 5 people all wrote down the same answer, and they were all betting on themselves, like in the where you can get like a 10-to-1 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So they had all their money like that, and then a couple of them had their money also on their set. And I was like, "Man, you guys must be really feeling it." Like, I need a. All right, and so I still thought they were wrong, and I was the only one that got the right answer, and absolutely hilarious.
You're gonna be scared to like ever leave a table at a game night
Well,
again.
I don't know what it is, man. Well, here's the thing: if I'm at the table, I get attacked, and everybody beats me up. If I leave the table, people cheat and they try to conspire against me to beat me, and I still win. So, I don't know. I just I thought that was absolutely hilarious, and they all joked and laughed about it, and we laughed about it all night and made fun of my sister for being the amazing reader that she is. And she actually is a very educated person. Just when you're not used to reading board game cards and she's never read the card before, she just was like, "Oh, okay, it said the weight 36, blah, blah, blah." So Wits and Wagers, Strike, Telestrations. One thing that was fun about Telestrations is we started on something that it started as an ice cream truck and ended up as Wet Dream. That was fun to see that transition. Always a great game. And plus, played that with a bunch of people from church.
Nice.
So that was fun to draw Wet Dream. And I drew Wet Dream successfully without going perverted or anything like that. Drew like a sea of water, and then I drew like a kid sleeping and like bubbles over his head like he's dreaming, and I had arrows pointing to both. And they were like, "Ah, okay, is that really what your word was?" When I passed it, and I was like, "Yeah, that was really my word. I'm sorry." But I didn't know, and come to find out when I got back to the original person, it was like seriously, it was like ice cream truck. Like, I have no idea how it went from ice cream truck to Wet Dream, and we were also playing with like some teenagers and some kids, so that's how it got there. But it was still all great party games, all a lot of fun, and those are always like the 3 that I bring whenever I'm playing with people, especially non-gamers. So,
yeah,
boom.
Nice.
I want to play Wits and Wagers a bit more. That was a lot of fun playing it.
Wits and Wagers, so much fun.
Jake.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
And it is fun to do that too, because I did that. We actually played Wits and Wagers with 2 different parties. In the first party, we had a ton of people, so I ended up doing what Jake did.
Yeah.
And it was a blast being able to do that, because one, I play the game a lot, and so it allowed other people to play, and just to see like their faces and stuff like that. Like I went into character. I had like the lifestyles of the rich and famous. That was like the accent I did the whole time reading the stuff. And everybody was laughing. It's just fun when you can play a game like that and be creative and be out of the box and just be silly with it. Because, I mean, and that's the other great thing about the game. Not that people are dumb, but their guesses are so off sometimes on, to me, what seems like a pretty basic thing. Like, how long is a football field? 4 miles. Who writes down 4 miles? Right? It's not 4 miles.
That's great.
But anyway, it's a good time.
The biggest stadium imaginable.
Isn't that in Brazil?
Could you imagine getting an in seat at that place?
No.
Busting out the telescope to see what's going on?
You would have to have like every seat come with its own tablet, so you could basically have your own camera and watch the game via that. And could you imagine being an athlete playing on that field? The final score would be 3-0. They kick a field goal. Like that would be the game. Oh man.
It gets like vaguely foggy inside, and then all of a sudden you just can't see the other side of the stadium.
Right? Yeah, like only part of it experiences like the weather elements.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. There are some buildings that are big enough that they have their own weather phenomena,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
crazy.
incredibly interesting to think about. But yeah.
Awesome.
Casual.
Times.
Well, I guess that's pretty much what we've been playing.
And that's a show.
And that's the show. It's been a while. If it wasn't so late, I would go into Unstable Unicorns, but we don't have time for that. No, I'm just kidding.
Unstable Unicorns, real quick. It is a new updated version of Munchkin. Card art is pretty cool.
It doesn't
but
really
it's
play
not
like
all
Munchkin. It plays like whatever.
It's
the
a take that
kittens
kind of game.
Yeah.
You're gonna try to kill, because the whole goal of the game is to get 7 unicorns. First person to 7 unicorns wins. And it's one of those things where you can do stuff to specific players because the card says just put it in somebody else's thing. And so it's definitely a take that type of cutie game. The artwork was cool. I think I backed it for like $30 or something like that.
Yeah, the artwork was pretty good.
I don't know why they have to do like the adult theme on some of the stuff.
I think that's the main reason why when you pulled the game out, I was like, no, Rob, why? Because I remember listening to podcasts and like seeing pictures of it, of just some like intense unicorns in that game.
I did not see that. I saw like the cover art and I thought it was like $30. Well, I did the edition where I got like the
Unicorns
like the
After Dark.
But man, some of the stuff, some of the things, and I'll let your imagination go with it, that they put instead of the horn, just not to my liking. And the scarier part is the people that were playing with them. They were like, "Can I have those cards?" Like, we were playing with this one guy who wasn't really talking at all, Matt. Like, we were playing this game, and dude's like, and I made a comment like, "I'm really not into these cards," and so I took him out of the box and I set him aside, and he was like, "Hey man, if you don't want to keep those cards, I would love to just like have them and look at them in my room." I'm like, no thanks. That's all right. Thank you.
You
though,
didn't
but-
mention that in our talking with or playing games with strangers episode,
bro. But do you remember? You remember what I said to him?
Don't
I
touch my
straight up
unicorns
said-
or something.
I
like
was
that?
like, no, and that's really awkward that you literally just said that, and we have no idea who you are, man. That you were just like,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
you
I
just
was
wanna
too
look at
busy
stuff.
like being mad at the game, being like, this game literally
But it was like one
is
of those like creepy
random.
things, 'cause- and not to be rude against the guy or anything like that, but the way he presented himself also came across like he could be creepy, right? I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Hey man,
And then
there's
I
all
was like,
kinds. There's all kinds.
Hey man, I would love to have those cards and look at them in my room if you don't want them. And how
Did he say
specifically
that
said
like
his
in
room.
my room? Did he add in my room to
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I missed that. I totally missed that.
And I was like, hey man, no thanks. That's really weird that you just said. And then he started defending himself. No, it's because I like the art.
Is that
no.
why he was breathing heavy the whole time? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, it was.
I'm kidding. Oh man, but dude, yeah, the game. It was funny because we were playing this game. The game doesn't have a whole lot of strategy and stuff. There's not a lot of crazy stuff going on. But I mean, there's a tiny bit of stuff you can do. But I was just getting mad at like the people we were playing with because like the shred of strategy there is in this completely random take that game. Like not like most of the people weren't utilizing it. I'm like, come on, guys. There's not much to this game. It's like completely random and it's just silliness going on. But you can do this and you can do that to do this thing. Come on, just do the things. So
In their defense, and this is not really much of a defense, they were crazy stressed out from Hanabi. You remember that?
how can you can't be that stressed out from Hanabi?
But these people were stressed out from Hanabi, and you know who I'm talking about. I'm
pretty sure they were stressed out about how much you were cheating in Hanabi, Rob. That's
No,
different.
because they were cheating with me.
Rob was like, "Hey, everybody, let's just all tell each other what we have." Oh.
It was a
Matt, you would have been like, we sat down to play Hanabi with Rob, Matt, and it was as soon as we sat down, I'm like, Rob, I don't know that you're gonna be able to play this game. Like, it's really hard, like, not to give like subtle clues that you're not supposed to give. I wasn't wrong. It was fun and hilarious.
me
but,
and this guy who was across the table from me. He would like
Rob was just always winking.
he would like touch a card, and I'd wink at it like, yeah, do that one. And like him and I are like, I'm conversing with him without saying anything to him. And like when Roy would look at me, I'd like stop doing anything.
I would always be like, Rob, you can't. You're not supposed to do that. Like, we're not supposed to. It's like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm like,
Roy, we did so much more that you didn't even hear or realize. Because there were a couple times when it was my hand, where it was my turn. I would ask questions. Can I say color and number? Vice versa. Like, can I say you have 3 green 4s or something like that? Like kind of throwing stuff out there that you're not supposed to. But anyway, yeah, it was really bad. Like, I'd wink at him and I'd tell him, like, or if he touched the wrong card, I'd like go over this way or move my head that way to touch the next card.
Like, someone would be doing something they're not supposed to, and Rob would be like,
Oh yeah.
You're just like, come on, man.
It got to the point where, like, he's holding his cards and he's like, yeah. It just.
Oh,
we
man.
had fun. We had a great time.
Awesome. Well, speaking of having a great time, our topic today is casual gaming. I don't have a lot of questions in this, so should we be able to bust this out real quick? What games do you think of when it comes to casual gaming?
The last 5 mentioned.
Exactly.
Ta-da.
Pretty much.
Actually, ta-da. Pretty good game.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, ta-da is a good game.
It's casual, but I don't know that it gives me, like, the feeling of being casual. It's pretty crazy. Like, it's like, it's frantic. It's definitely casual because you can't be competitive in it, but it's definitely could be stressful, I think, maybe a little bit.
Do you mean casual, just like laid back games? Like
yeah,
games
however you want to do it.
chill?
I mean, it is casual compared to, like, you can't really be super competitive in it, but it's definitely not a laid back game.
Okay.
But yeah,
I wasn't
think
sure if we're trying to do like the online gamer where it's like, well, that's a casual game, and I don't play casual games. I only play super intense mega games.
I mean, you can take it however you want. I think games like
Love that
Telestrations
impression,
that Rob mentioned is like one of the best casual games because it's barely a game, and you're just playing to see the crazy things that people draw, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Chat's
Casual games to me are
Suro,
party games.
Splendor.
Oh, Suro is a super awesome casual game.
Yeah. I actually really like Suro. Okay. I sort of wish they would make like a Mega Suro or something similar to that, where it's just giant board and it's just all like constantly. It's just like
the board is giant, but the tiles stay the same size.
Yeah, basically.
It just lasts forever.
I guess I need to play Whistle Stop because when you were describing it to me, that was sort of what it sounded like, was like Suro, but like more.
I mean, there's the only comparison they really have is like the paths for the trains. There's a lot more Euro-y stuff going on in Whistle Stop. We can play it. I think you'll like it. I don't know if it'll be like way up there for you, but it's definitely interesting. You're running around collecting different good types and trying to drive your trains through the correct station to be able to get points off of it. So.
Can dexterity games be casual games?
For sure.
Because, like, I love Junk Art and Rhino Hero and Go Cuckoo and stuff like that. Now, granted, like, you're messing with people and having fun, but to me, it's like when I think of a casual game, I think of like I don't care if I'm going to win, you don't care if you're going to win, we're just playing to have fun. Like, let's just hang out and play this game type of a thing.
For me, I like to play Talisman as a casual game, mostly because that game's just like you roll a die, you go this way or you go that way, and you just draw cards and see what happens. So it's like a game where you can't really care too much about what happens, so it forces the game to be more casual, and you're just going through the experience of like going through, and the only real decision you have in the game is, am I going to start going towards the center now? And half the time it's like you have to get lucky enough to even start doing that. So I feel like the randomness in the game, when it gets to a certain level, it pushes the game into being just casual, because you're just like, oh, I'm just doing this thing, you know.
Have you guys ever played the game, A Game of Things?
No.
Oh, it's a fun game. That's a fun party game. Like, it's comes in a wooden box, and it's literally just thousands of cards that have just little questions. And it's one of the questions will be things you don't put on a table. And so everybody writes down their answer, things you don't put on a table, and you try to guess who guessed that, and you get a point for every person you guess right.
Okay.
And it's just it's a bunch like things you never say to a cop, things that like you don't bring to church with you, or like other. It's like a ton of random stuff. We had that used to be like the big party game. Like for us, like that was a fun casual game. Like when we all just wanted to be silly, and go around and do stuff. Like,
is it weird that those mechanics kind of remind me of kind of how Heartthrob works?
Yeah.
You played that with us, right, Rob? Heartthrob?
With Crystal?
Yeah, because those are like, oh, which guy's most likely to do this, and then you have to guess which person the other people picked, and it's just like,
Yeah, the game was fun. It was fun because there were like 2 girls and then a bunch of
it was a bunch of dudes being like, which guy is the best?
Which 1980s man would we really fall in love with? With the puffy hair and everything. Like, yeah, it was hilarious. But it was hilarious because we were playing with those awkward circumstances, like that awkward group.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want to be the only guy playing
that
game.
Oh, who do we think Rob thinks would do this? Oh, yeah, Rob's totally feeling this guy. So, nice. So do you guys think that there are some games that are more casual and laid back than others?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not going to narrow that question down
because super casual.
Yeah.
I feel like Ambi's just gonna like jump out of the side and be like,
No, if anything, she'll probably support it. Yes, they are, because she loves it. I've never played it. So, well, but yeah, I mean, of course, there's some that are casual than others.
Gotcha. Are there times you would rather play something more casual than a more like intense game?
Ah, there's Ambi.
You say the name and she's there.
Thank you.
Rolls on up.
What was the question?
Are there times you would rather play more casual games than something that's a little bit more intense? Are there sometimes you're just more in the mood to just lay back and play something that's more chill?
You want to answer this first, Matt?
I mean, I don't know. I'm typically a very chill person. So there are definitely times that I'm probably not super keen to play Rhino Hero.
What?
Well, it's like, I don't know. You know, after a funeral, probably not a good time to play Rhino Hero. But
I love you so much.
I think it's the best time. On the casket.
It's just a little,
Sometimes
too exciting.
your answers are just what I need, man.
Thanks, buddy. I feel good.
So it's not proper etiquette to like play on one of like the, flower arrangements, like to see if you can connect the different flower arrangements.
I need to
together.
write in my will that there needs to be copies of Rhino Hero at my wake.
I love it. What did you say before when we were doing like the couples thing? I don't know. I'm alone, and now, well, I don't play Rhino Hero after funerals. Like,
It just doesn't really fit.
Absolutely the best.
I don't know. I think there are certain times where it's just like very high energy games, like especially dexterity games. Like I wouldn't necessarily want to like bust out something right now because I'm tired and don't feel like doing any sort of competitive screaming, which is basically what that game sort of evolves into. Where you're like just constantly,
or you're doing like the Street Fighter moves.
Yeah, man.
So let me ask you this, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Are there times that you could play like a game that's not considered a casual game, but treat it casually, where everyone's just like having fun and not caring? Because I feel like with our group, we tend to do that more often.
Yeah.
Where it's just like it's not meant to be like a casual game, but we're just all like, it doesn't matter. We're just here to have fun. We're just chilling type of a thing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be a set casual game. Like there have been times where I did not care at all playing Twilight Imperium 3. I was just like, I don't care. I'm just literally here to eat cheese and hang out.
Like even when we played TI4 for like the first 3 to 4 hours of that game, I was just like, okay, doing things, making spaceships, flying around.
Says the guy who won.
Right, and then I was just like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, I can claim these objectives.
I was like, let me focus for a minute.
It was good stuff.
But yeah, I feel like most of those, it just really depends on how you approach it. Like, I don't try to take any game too seriously.
I think this is probably the reason that I haven't played XCOM in a long time, just because like it's really hard for me.
Game.
It's really hard for me to ever be in the mood to be that uncasual, because it's like you have to have like your League of Legends team like ready to go, or your professional XCOM team be like, okay guys, we're going in, we're gonna make this happen. And majority of the time I'm just like, I mean, I feel like the game is good and I like the game and I would like to play it, but I rarely feel like I'm in the mood to be like, let's defeat the aliens or let's lose to the aliens. And I feel like the game is awesome, and I had a lot of fun the times we played it, but it's like,
well, it's also the timer. Like the timer is just
the amount of uncasual that game is, the amount of unlaid back that game is just like, oh. And I'll play other real-time games and stuff like that. And
it makes you stress out.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally designed to stress you out.
Right.
Good stuff.
And I mean, I've played things like Robo Rally and stuff like that has real time, that I feel like sometimes it's just fun to see things get messed up and you don't care as much, you know. It can be more casual and still be real time. But
man, one of the most memorable games I've ever played at Robo Rally was when Ryan Bradley just got immediately destroyed like in the beginning and was just in a corner like hitting a wall for a while, and then his like thing just he just couldn't make anything, and so it's just like, all right guys, ready, go, and he just flips the timer and we're all trying to program 6 things to get to a flag. You know,
when
like 30 seconds.
When we play Robo Rally, I think the official rules are once there's only one person left, then you flip the timer, which is not fun. We play where the first person that finishes flips the timer, so everybody is on this super tight clock to like program their robots. Just because,
like, it's much better to suffer in a group.
Extra chaos just being like, makes the game even more fun. I don't know. Yeah. So, I love Robo Rally. Rob, we need to get you to play Robo Rally. It's a really quick game.
There are a lot of games that you guys need me to get to play.
I know. Where you at? When you coming over? Let's do this.
Trying to make that money.
Robo Rally is just like Mechs and Minions light, just without the minions. It's just mechs.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's more running in circles. Awesome. Cool. Are there any specific aspects of a game's mechanic that can make a game more casual than competitive?
Say that again.
Are there specific mechanics that can make a game more casual than it is competitive? I think when there's a lot of luck or randomness in games, when it gets to a certain threshold of randomness where everything's just kind of random, it can make the game more casual, because you're just like, I mean, we're just going to see what happens, you know? If there's a lot of things where there's a lot less randomness and it's very important on things you do, and there's a lot more like strict Euro-y type things, like you gotta do this and you gotta do this and you gotta get the things in the right order, it can make the game less casual, just depending on like the feel of the game, you know. But I feel like a high dose of randomness can make a game more casual, because you can't really control anything. If you can't control it, you might as well just chill out. Which would be the opposite.
For me, it's not so much a mechanic as it is a theme.
Oh, yeah?
Because, like, sometimes the randomness, like, drives me insane, where I'm just like, I can't handle this right now. Like, this is so crazy. But, like, to me, it's the theme and the artwork that makes a game more casual to me.
Gotcha.
Than anything else. Like, when I see the artwork of a game and I see how cool it is or how fun or how crazy it is, I'm not going to take the game so serious. Not that it doesn't deserve it, but it just looks cool and it looks fun, so I'm just going to play with a cool and fun attitude. Like when I see Dead of Winter, artwork is beautiful, but it does not look at all casual to me. It looks like, bro, we about to die, get a blanket and a can of beans, it's cold outside. When I look at the artwork of Junk Art, I'm like, this is stupid, this is silly, let's play and build some stuff and knock some stuff down. Even before playing the games. I don't know, because yeah, like co-op games and other stuff. Some of them are casual, some are not. So yeah, to me, it's more theme and artwork that'll make me personally decide my attitude toward the game. Either that and party games, but you could say that about every party game.
Yeah. Party games in general are pretty casual and laid back because they're for being played at a party.
Yeah. Unless you're playing that catchphrase game where you got to pass it before the timer goes off because it's got like the like hot potato timer.
Because that's intense.
And then you know that one player on everybody's team, and each team has it. I don't know if you guys played that game, but the other team starts to laugh once that person gets once they get the thing, because they're like, you know, you're not going to get it in time because so and so's got it.
That is so grade school. Like,
it's so mean, but it's so true.
Oh man,
it's bad. Well, how about this? In my family, because we usually play that with my family, anytime it gets passed to somebody in my family who's over the age of 70, the other team just starts laughing at you like, you know, Uncle Paul's not going to get it. You know he's not going to get it because he's trying to give you 1940s and 50s and 60s references, and it has nothing to do with that.
Like, he's trying to get you to guess Elon Musk, and he doesn't even know who that guy is.
Yeah,
this is great.
And so, yeah, because I play that game more with my family, who are than with other people. So, and we always play with an age group ranging from the 20s to the 80s. Like, it is a diverse culture.
There you go. I think for me, how scoring is handled is one of those things. So like cooperative games don't necessarily count because the score in that is what you make of it.
Yeah.
But if you like games that have the score displayed on the board in real time, sort of always, to me, always feel like there's that level of, okay, I know what's going on. I don't have to stress about it as much. But games where the score is hidden and you're trying to keep track of like, okay, well, that guy took, I think, 2 of those and then 3 of that. So that puts him at like 8 or whatever. Those games tend to be, while they can have casual mechanics, I think they're just a little less casual just because of the sheer amount of numbers that you have to keep floating around if you want to. If you want to do that. Now, you can play it and just not care at all and then go, oh, hey, look at that. I got 12. What'd y'all get? Oh, 24? Okay. Well, I didn't do well, And you can take a casual approach to it, but I think generally how score is handled is something that is a pretty good predeterminer.
Nice.
Boom.
Do you find it hard to play games casually?
No.
No.
But it also depends on who I'm playing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. That answers that. It depends on who I'm playing with.
Rob's like, if it's Roy and Trevor, the teeth come out.
Sort of.
I think I find it hard to play games competitively.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, okay, well, yeah. I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't make me like a bad person to play with.
No.
'Cause it's like, do you care about this? And I'm like, well, not really.
But that's also a lot of your personality, though,
Move
too.
the things.
Your personality, though, from my perception of you so far, is not confrontational. It's just like, hey, man, let's just have fun, chill. No reason to get all crazy and upset about it.
Yeah. Unless you're the fascist. No, I'm just kidding. Matt's just like, I'll just admit it. Yeah, it's me. It's me.
See, that's the great thing.
Still
about
one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time. Just that whole Gen Con trip, because that was also the Gen Con trip where Emerson cussed at Matt, and I slept with Brandon Pleshik.
Matt doesn't care so much. He'll be like, okay, fascist, open your eyes. Cool, good, see you guys. Okay. Wait, what?
See you guys on the battlefield.
Right?
I feel like I'm just gonna, if I ever need to call games again, I think I'm just gonna start doing that always, just to make people laugh.
And then you'll know who the
even if I'm not, the fascists are like, great, here we go. This is gonna be 10 out of 10 game.
And we ate a lot of pizza that weekend.
We did.
So
Nice.
Man, those ghost pepper cheesesteaks are.
That'd be like the only reason I'd go back to Gen Con.
Two reasons I want to go back to Gen Con.
Yeah, it's definitely top reason for me.
Those were so good.
Because like a lot of the games at Gen Con, I probably have already pre-ordered.
Yeah.
So I'm not going there for the games.
Yeah. And they're more expensive if you buy them there.
True.
Which makes sense because like Gen Con is super expensive as one of those companies, so I'm not going to say like not support them.
Yeah.
But man, those cheese sticks, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, what game do you play when you just want to chill out?
It depends on who I'm with, man.
Yeah.
Like to me, also Zombicide's kind of a chill game. It's like you're hacking and slashing.
It's definitely very cathartic in that regard.
And it also depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in like a laughing mood or something like that, I'll probably play more of a party game. But if I'm in a mood where I just want to like play a game that's got maybe a little meat to it, but I don't care, like I just want to have fun. Maybe a game like a Zombicide or a game like Quartz, or something like that where it's like simple and easy, or I don't know, or like Secret Hitler. I don't know.
You play Secret Hitler to chill out? No, I'm just kidding. We're like, we know Roy doesn't.
No, you don't chill out. But see, to me, but that's what makes us different. Because like me getting loud and getting fun with it, to me, that's also chill. Chill doesn't necessarily mean that I'm just cathartic. And I'm just like, yeah. Chill to me is just like, I don't care. Let's just have fun. It doesn't matter. I just want to have a good time. That's my chill. I don't need a game where I'm just like that sloth from Zootopia, type of a thing.
Oh man, that was a great character.
Yes.
I think the game for me would have to be Tales of the Arabian Nights, just because you just
tell
my
stories.
God.
That's a great
What
game.
a great game.
It's like, you just play the game. We're doing stories. We're making stories. The points and scores don't really matter.
Yeah, you're just
like
I don't
and
think
everybody's
anybody
laughing at all the stories everybody makes up with. I mean, it's barely a game, but I think that's one of the parts that makes it so chill. Is just like, then somebody gets enough points to like win. You're like, don't go back to Baghdad. We're still making stories. Come on, guy. So
yeah. That's always my favorite things because you're just like, okay, cool. I got 2 points, yay! And then it's just like, yeah, but what's Roya doing? AJ's still in jail. All right, what's Rock up to?
It's crazy just to see all the things
like,
everybody comes up with.
I tried to drink the rock slide, and then all of a sudden a genie pops up and is like, "Hey, man, you're a goat now," and you're like, "All right,
I'm a goat." I love that game. And see, that was another thing about like Near and Far that I really liked. When we played it with Steve and Tom, I did not care. I was just having a blast picking on frogs because I really do have a phobia of frogs. And so you're the frog character. Like, did not care at all. So much fun. The storytelling games, I think, are a fantastic chill. If you're okay with being sarcastic and being silly with it.
Yeah.
That was a great call, Roy. Man.
It's funny because I was sitting on that like the whole time. I was just like, I'm not going to mention Tales of the Arabian Nights until the very end. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I had a long day. Like I apologize.
Matt, do you have any other games that you think like you would want to play when you're just going to chill?
Okay, so it's hard for me to say because I feel like if I'm trying to chill, like my level of like just calming down and relaxing is like a very sort of methodical process that does not in any way, shape, or form involve board games.
Gotcha.
But there are board games that I can play that are relaxing, like Tales of the Arabian Nights, like you mentioned, is solid 10 out of 10. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of games that I would want to play that I don't have an answer. Let's just go with that.
I think
because I can't.
I think Centuries could be another good one just because I don't know. I feel like you're just switching out the cards and the cubes, and it's really simple just how it works. And I mean, I guess you could be competitive about trying to race for the stuff like that, but it never seems like it's that big of a deal to me. Like, okay, you win or you don't win, but
yeah, I think it isn't win our group, but I could definitely see other people in other groups being very focused on it. I don't know.
Rob left the podcast. I'm just kidding.
I'm just looking at stuff.
Nice. Rob's trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm back.
Hey.
Hi.
Bro, is that how my arm looks on camera? Look at that huge thing in the background.
It's because you're
like a
beast. Ugh. Flex.
Look at that.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
do you want a sadly depressing story from my childhood?
I don't know if it can get any more depressing than Rhino Hero after funerals. You can try.
Okay, so I've always been a bigger guy, but at one point I remember specifically as a child, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm probably going to get bigger, but I'm not going to get big enough to the point where I'll have that flap of skin that is over my elbow, right? Like that's too big. But young me doesn't understand that I don't look at my elbows very often, so how would I even notice? And it was like one day in like high school, I was just like, oh no, it's happened.
That's sad. That's so sad, man.
And I was like, I've got to go to the gym. And then I started going to the gym, and I lost some weight, and that was great. And then I got out of school, and then put that weight right back on. It was great. But yeah, man. Good old depressing story time with Matt.
I don't even know where to go from here. Everybody who listens to the audio podcast is just going to be like, they've never seen you. They're like, how big is that? No, I'm just kidding. Matt is a strapping young lad. He looks great.
I don't remember what her name is. Is it Violet Beauregard from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Like, just picture that. That way, it's sort of like under-promising and over-delivering, right? So if you're just picturing somebody who is a literal sphere, and I show up, you're like, oh man, you're not that big, and I'm like, hey, thanks. This feels good. I like this.
You should have spit out that gum, man. Stop chewing it. Blueberry. Every time.
I love blueberries.
Awesome. Well, I guess we can close this thing up. Thank you, everybody, for checking out the show. We stream these Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. Next week, we're going to be having a patron hangout, so make sure to stop by to hit us up for that. We'll be doing our giveaway of stuffed fables, and that'll be super awesome. The episode after that is 150, which we're probably going to try to like play some games and stuff during it. I would really love to try to like make deception happen, and that'd be great. Did Rob disappear, or is he just very still?
I think his camera froze.
Is he still on the call?
Keep going.
He's very deep in thought. Like, look how deep Rob is in thought. Oh, you're froze like.
Yeah, Rob, you're just like
very hard. Cool. We also want to say thank you so much to all of our amazing patrons on Patreon who allow us to do our giveaways and reviews and things like that, which is super awesome and helps us to keep the lights on the show and pay for all the costs and things that go into that, which is super awesome.
Yeah.
Rob, are you there?
Super. I am. Can you not hear me? Can you not see me?
Now we can.
Does it keep going in and out?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, it does.
Oh, man, you're going to have to do the Patreon. I have no idea what happened.
Now you're good. What's up with that? It just stopped and now it's working fine. Awesome, guys.
Is it there?
You're going in full Cylon mode. Rob's been hacked.
Did
Yep.
say that.
Welp.
No, bro.
I think your internet's just sort of had
Internet's
enough
fine.
for the day.
No.
Maybe your Skype's had enough for the day.
It's ready to take a nap.
It's okay. Well, I was being depressing, so we'll just, I guess, go from there, right? So I'll just pick it up and do it. Oh, I do not know how to pronounce this last name at all, so please forgive me. But a very special thank you to Steve.
Do it.
I don't even want to. I don't.
Steve, do it. States. Do it.
Perfect. We do genuinely appreciate it. I'm waiting for you to say do it again.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, man. But seriously, thank you for all your support, all your everything. You just being you. Thank you for your particular scent of wood cologne, which is let's just go with a nice Brazilian rosewood, because I feel like we haven't really branched out from the maples.
Have you seen his picture?
I have not.
Go to the top of the. He got in like at the beginning. He's got like this awesome, funky.
Is he one of the OG patrons?
No,
Oh,
No, but look at the red
I went all the way back up, so now it's like in the stream.
at the top. That's Steve Stites, everybody. The man doesn't care. The man's a freaking legend. He is going back to that craziness, like that 1960s. I can't remember the guy's name who drew pictures of bananas and they sold.
Ah, it was so good for a minute.
Stites.
oh boy. Well,
Steve Stites, you're the best, man. And yeah, your pictures look great. Thank you so much for being an amazing patron. And thanks to everybody else who helps us on Patreon. You're great. And you're so great that you froze Rob's internet connection. So I'm sure it's not malware on his computer that's mining bitcoins. I'm sure it's not that.
Guys, hear me. Oh, hello.
hey, you're back. Yeah, my computer's mining bitcoins right now.
But not from malware.
No, for me.
Awesome, guys. Well, if you'd like to support us on Patreon, make sure to hit us up at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night, and we'll try to get some better internet service if we get to a high enough level.
We'll get a copy of Google Fiber. It'll be great.
Yep. Also, make sure to hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Epic Gaming Night. We're posting things we're excited about in gaming. Also, make sure to check out Rob at writing.newman.
Hello.
I can hear you say hello softly in the background the whole time. Only half of the time.
That was great. It just like broke through the
Steve,
wall
we
with
love
the
you.
cool shit, man.
What, Steve?
Rob just crying in the background softly.
Softly sobbing Steve's name.
Steve. Steve Ed.
Awesome. Well, this has been our show. Thanks everybody who tuned in, and it's been a blast. And definitely come back next week for the Patreon hangout, and ask us some questions and hang out. It should be a ton of fun.
Can you hear me?
We
Can
can.
you hear me? Steven, I love you so much. I love you so much. Steven.
Yeah.
Peace.
My computer.